First off, I want to start with this 15 by 50. It's called HR4, or HF4, I'm sorry. House File 4, if you want to look it up at the state legislature's website. It's being proposed by a guy named Keith Downey. He is a representative from the Edina area. I think that's District 41. Now, let me briefly explain what his bill would do. What his bill would do, it would call for the executive budget to be decreased by 15% by June 30th, 2015. So it's the 15 for 15. And basically he's doing it through a combination of different things in order to reach this goal. It's not going in with a machete and slashing everything like these dumb DFLers keep claiming. And he was recently on a program, one of these throwaway shows over the week. I'm really into some of these shows. I shouldn't call them throwaway shows, but if you're Channel 17, if you want to watch Capitol Report, Almanac, Your Legislators, they're pretty informative. I say throwaway because, you know, they go on the weekend and nobody really pays much attention. They ought to. But Mr. Downey was on the Almanac show with good old Ryan Winkler from Senate District 45, a zippity-doo-dah who wouldn't know an idea if it landed on his face and started to wiggle. And he was explaining this bill, and Winkler was sort of debating him about it. And it's kind of funny to watch what happens here and try to watch Winkler try to explain why the executive branch can't cut employees. But first, I want you to listen to Representative Downey explain this and how it will work. Watch this. Roll the tape.
Well, absolutely. This is not simply a budget action. This is really about balancing government relative to the private sector, and balancing government so that it's sustainable for the future. That the tools that we have given Governor Dayton to accomplish this 15% reduction rely largely on attrition and existing retirements. 850 people retire from the executive branch agencies every year. There's natural attrition. If we need to accomplish more through other means, there's an early retirement provision provided. And so we aren't prescribing to Governor Dayton exactly how he does it, the timing. We're assuming that he would be strategic, that he would leverage early retirements in a responsible way, and really give the workforce a chance to adapt as we go along with this.
Okay, so there you have it right there. We're not turning around and throwing these people out on the streets, you know, with no child care or any of that crap. It is through attrition, it's through retirement, some reforms, not replacing people who retire, and it's a gradual thing. There's discretion to it. It's not ironclad. But Representative Winkler, boy, I mean, you'd have thought he shot his dog and let his union buddies even dream of having less members. Here is his response. Now listen to how he phrases what's wrong with this bill. What's this?
Is that when you start out by saying we need to freeze wages, we need to shrink the workforce, what you're really doing is telling these public sector workers, the people at the very front lines, who we need to help reform government, you're telling them that their contributions don't really matter, that they're not valued by their employer, the state.
I'm sorry, we're denigrating state workers? We're going to give them an early retirement, but we're denigrating them. Who said anything about that, Mr. Winkler? I mean, really, let's say a business is a cost-benefit analysis and says, look, you know, we can't keep X amount of people in this area. We don't need X amount of people. Are they denigrating the people? Or are they being smart financially? I mean, a company has to do that or they go out of business. But of course, you libs in the government think that you can just endlessly charge us, endlessly tax us. We're your big pot of gold. Now, Representative Downey gives a great response here and explains, I think in better detail than he did the first time, why this is so important, this 15 by 15 bill. Watch this.
We have an unsustainable cost structure in state government. The good news for Minnesotans relative to the budget is that we have 5% more general fund revenue coming from existing taxes this year, but state spending is projected to rise 24%. Our perspective is that if we're going to put Minnesota on a sustainable footing for the future, we have to get our cost structure under control. And this isn't about denigrating the state workforce. In fact, I think this is a compliment to the state workforce to say we can react and respond to the impending retirements. We can restructure what we do. There are plenty of great ideas for reform, redesign, innovation.
You know, this is just it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, sustainable, what can we afford? What can we do without gouging our workforce? I mean, think about it. A 5% raise in, I hate it when people call it revenue. It's taxes. 5%, even Republicans do this. 5% increase in taxes and a projected 24% increase in expenditures. I mean, there's no way that can continue going forward. We can't do that every biennium. And Democrats, they agree with that, but they won't agree to anything that will change it. And Representative Winkler demonstrates this. Watch this.
Yeah, I agree. We eventually do need to get to the point in this legislative session and in this budget where we do the real reform, the real innovation work, and I hope that we can do that sooner and get past this stage of political theater that these kinds of bills represent.
I mean, there's no agreeing with these people. Yes, I agree. We're going to have to make cuts. We will have to make cuts. Well, cut what? And I'm not talking about a little 2-year cut where we just tidy it off and ship it to the next biennium like you dumb liberals did last time. I'm talking about real change. There's no new ideas. The DFL hasn't had a new idea in forever.